All right, welcome back to another episode of the Ascension Wars. So, things are going very, very well. We're entering late fall, and Cash is with me here.
Hello.
And we're not dead yet, which is a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
I think things are looking rather optimistic, despite the map's border gore over when you look at Makoni. Or just
Yeah, you could call
flags
it that.
intermixed everywhere. It's border gore. Look at that. No clean cut
Mm-hmm.
borders. That's not right. You'll fix that up, I'm sure.
Hopefully.
You'll set it right. All right. So, first things first. We'll do the factions that we're handling, and by we I mean Cash has just sort of assumed control of Agartha. Like he's doing 100% on his own now. So it's like, this is fine. It's a great learning experience for him.
Well,
And
Agartha really can't do much, so it's pretty much just. I'm pretty much just making them produce some neutral units, and then just move like one troop. So
look,
not that
they're
much.
still alive, and that is surprising in of itself. Okay, all right, capiche. Oh, look at it. Look at
Mm-hmm.
it. He's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. Everything's going according to plan from a certain point of view. So,
Mm-hmm.
Agartha, yep, that pretty much sums them up. Two things that happened this turn: the fall of Whirling Sea, the castle in the sea, and then fall of Dimor. And Falgoth was attacked, which again was kind of interesting. So we will look at Falgoth because that one was worth looking at, I thought. This one, there's a Basalt King. Now he kills everybody. So Sandro is now building fucking camera super combatants. And we will
Yeah,
put it on speed too.
he's not a great super combatant, but clearly he does the job.
Yeah, honestly, super combatants like him, if he's going to waste his money on that, that's a lot of resources on something that's kind of average against these baseline troops. Now, with magic casting and support, this guy could die, I think, pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean he is dying. That's the thing. Like if you look at him, he only has 24 hit points left here, and he keeps taking damage.
And he's getting different wounds. So even though he survived this battle, he is gonna be fucked up. We're gonna wait now. Nervy's boys. I love how they're trying to run away, but the other guys won't let them pass. Like, no, you little cowards.
Look
Just
at the commander now. Now that they're starting to run away, see he has 3 hit points left.
yep, he's
So
almost dead.
he's really lucky.
And he got 2 new fresh wounds too.
He
Battle
has
wounds.
also he has already failed his morale check, as far as I know.
Yep.
But
At this point, he's trying to run away, but he
that's
can't.
the thing
'cause
about
he's
super combatants.
This awkward.
Yeah, I'm surprised those Lancer units can't get through him, but I guess after they've done their initial charge, they can't do much more.
Yep. Sadly, they're light lances, so they're not that
Yeah.
good, but they still have piercing. Still not enough damage to hurt him. Sadly.
Nope.
And there was
I think you need like 20 to get through the Iron Skin.
Yeah. There's some other interesting battles. So the Nemedians attack with their Glamour armies in Graingate, which is a loss for us. Not too surprising. It's Glamour. But Mori attacked Macone, but was defeated. Now this is where things get interesting. This is where his Glamour is no longer working because Cash was able to adapt to Makone's troops.
Well, here I'm not entirely sure what caused it. Because yes, I am casting some spells. However, I only have like 2 casters here.
That's horrible.
So, like,
what is this? Is like
he's massively missing with his fireball there. So, like, sure, I assume
that's better.
these fireballs do dispel some of the glamour, but otherwise, I'm not sure what is doing it. It might just be all of these spear dudes just lobbing spears like crazy.
I didn't hit play on the music, sadly. Also, I forgot I restarted my computer since then, so I had a tab open and ready. I'm very sad. Don't worry. We'll substitute the game with its own music, with just random music. Let's not do that one. You know what? Fuck it. Nothing like a couple copyright claims to get the day going. Let's see.
Just play some
My ears.
Mozart or something, dude.
No. Honestly, like, we're a tiny channel, and these videos are never really about making the mun-muns. We just have monetization enabled, actually, primarily, because if we don't actually have monetization enabled, I'm pretty confident we don't get put higher on the listings. The only way I ever planned to monetize the YouTube stuff was actually purely through donations. But because when we started to experiment with monetizing videos, the monetized videos always get more views, always. And so I'm left believing that because they're not monetized, YouTube's like, I don't feel like sharing that anyway. Not making me money, which I guess fair enough. I'm still kind of cancer. So you're burning some of his guys, which
I think what's happening here is that
your
I
own
did
guys
manage
are
to
burning.
build up. Yeah, I managed to build up a pretty decent wall of these guys. Like, they have 21 protection, and they have a shield, and they have a length 4 spear. So they're really, really difficult to kill.
And they can just stand there and take it.
Yeah, and they're just bunching up against them. And my mages keep casting fireball. And each fireball does dispel
when it hits, yeah. So we just need more splashy spells. Keep getting those splashy spells going, the glamour will disappear.
Yep.
And he tries to use undead for whatever unforsaken reason, because that's not going to work. For forsaken reason. The caster's going to get away. I'm not surprised. But not too many guys actually escaped, which is good. That army's basically neutralized in terms of being a threat.
I think he might also have lost to fatigue. Just because I have so many dudes there, that's just raining blows at him. Because after a while, they will start taking critical hits because of the fatigue.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Because they're not invincible. They have really bad protection. So the second people can start hitting them, they will die.
There was any other battles? Battle in Chilad? Nope, that was the battle. That was the halt of his advance, honestly.
I'm not sure. It was pretty much the battle in Sunaf, maybe?
The battle in what?
No.
Lombaria? How about that battle? That was interesting. You slaughtered him. You slattered him. I'm trying to think. Atlantis, there isn't too many big battles this turn, I don't think.
No, we pretty much just traded a bunch of provinces, I think. That one is the one I meant, but it's not very interesting. I just suicided a mercenary onto one
suicided? He fucking won, bro.
I was not expecting that.
Mechanical man, shield, protection 18, defense 14. I mean, they're not weak.
Nope. So that's pretty much what happened. They're fighting against one. They just don't have enough damage to get through their protection.
Which I guess mercenaries like that are great at wrapping up provinces.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with mercenaries. When they're running out and you don't have enough money to buy them, one thing you can do with them is just ram them into a random province and see. Maybe you get it. Maybe you get it. If they die, then nobody can get the mercenary anyway.
If they die, it's funnier that way. Then they can't have it.
Yeah.
There was a battle. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all the big battles, really. Like, there's a lot of battles, but they're not any major battles, really.
No, like I said, we're pretty much just trading provinces. One thing that did happen, though, was the laboratory that I had in Macone's capital, just decided to implode by a random event, so...
Yeah, but that's always lovely, so you gotta rebuild that.
Can't research there, and I also can't Like I wanted because all of my casters there are equipped with quills, and I kind of wanted to unequip them when I was heading out into battle, so I wouldn't lose them. But now I can't do that, and I also can't bring more gems with me. Luckily, I equipped them all with like 10 to 15 gems already, so they are ready to go.
That you were very lucky in that regard. I assume you have one guy rebuilding the temple, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. And then, because what he's going to do is he's going to move from Chilad, take back Moss Woods, his army going to move north, and then expel Sketchy, who's building troops here.
Yep, and since we're moving in with the other troop, or the troops from the right as well, they can move in there as well, and then move into the mountains to the right. So we can take them both in 2 turns.
And then
or 3 turns, I guess.
It'll probably be by winter's end, which means spring's going to roll around, which would be honestly better just to sit here and wait for it to warm up, and then march out. By then, things are going to change drastically, though, because we don't, like, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose both Lombardia and Endless Plain.
Yeah, at least temporarily, but if Bertos manages to take Venestra, which is the fort over there on the right side, then Bertos will be able to walk into Fomoria and just force him to fall back, so he can't keep pushing into Macon.
Yep, and then once that's fallen, then you can... I think we just need to hammer Carlos. Atlantis is distracted, which is good. Carlos will fall. He has limited time. Other interesting things happened on Makone's front is Makone broke through the defenses of Greendale, the pitiful ones that were there, and he's going to basically march from Stormwoods, what Cash is going to do, and then just ravage his lands.
Mm-hmm.
What you could do every turn is stop over Black Harbor, pillage it. Kill everyone there and then move.
Maybe, but we'll have to grab his territories first.
If you can, pillage every single one of his exposed pieces of territory, and then you could just literally leave and just watch as he just sits there and waits longer to build up armies now.
I think, what I'm gonna do is, unless he manages to repel me somehow, I'm gonna walk in, take his territories, and then I'm gonna go back to the castle that I'm sieging right now and finish sieging it.
Are you gonna take this and then waddle back? Or are you gonna go run around here? Or are you gonna run like this?
Yeah, I'm gonna run around in a circle and just take as much as I can, and then go back and take the capital. Or no, not the capital, the Greendale that we're standing on.
Yep, take Greendale from him, and then we have a beachhead inside of him.
Yeah, because he will have to waste time to take them back if he wants to do anything. And just by taking the forest there, we are depriving 2 of his forts with valuable resources. So he won't be able to produce as many units.
So he'll be nice and screwed.
Hopefully.
Otherwise,
this is in theory at least.
I think overall, though, on the Makone / Carlos front and against Ulm, I think we're winning pretty heavy-handedly.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
I mean,
when you look at the map, you're like, oh god, they've lost so much territory. But when I look at it strategically, Carlos has only 2 armies based on what our scouts have been able to spot. He has like a little tiny... He has 2 armies up here, technically. There's one big one, which is either here or somewhere up here, and there's another little one. And then there's one other little one right there, and then there's this one. And that's it. He's got some tiny little glamour stocks that he was trying to move around, but they were actually defeated for once, which is good. And I think that these armies will actually just curb stomp them now.
Yeah, the army that I have in the Makone capital is, I think, really, really, really strong, because I've been pumping out the sacred commanders, and they have 2 fire and 2 earth, so they're competent spellcasters, which will be very useful against the glamour units. But I've also researched conjuration, so every single one of my casters will be able to cast some lesser earth or fire or air elemental, and I've loaded them up with gems, so hopefully that should be able to do something at least. but we'll have to see.
We're also going to try to dispel Ulm's global enchantment for Mother Oak and steal that from him as our own Mother Oak, which will give us 10 Earth gems or Nature gems a turn, which will be nice.
Yeah, the problem there is that he's had that up for a long time, so
he has been summoning a fuck ton of bears, but then again, you never know.
They might be very cheap. Like, I think that might be one of his nation's special spells, and that might mean that it is very cheap to cast. However, you might also be right. He might not have as much as we think, but I still think that you should definitely turn all of your astral gems into nature gems and just make it as powerful as you possibly can. Because that way, if you waste like 130 gems or something, that way he will have to waste that many gems as well to get it back.
Yep.
And he might not do that. He might waste like 100 and not get it back.
And now he doesn't have enough. And the thing is, with those nature gems, we'll just be able to shit them out faster than he could ever. I do hope that I can rectify my provinces by searching them at some point, but I've been so focused on just getting spells to derp things down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that we're just going to talk about this, I've got 2 armies moving around up here. This one's going to try grabbing... I might change my mind, I'm not sure. This one's going to try grabbing Mountains of Evernight. And this one's going to head over to the left and clean out those islands there. Now, I imagine Sandor's going to send an army to the coast here. Fine, whatever. Whatever troops he sends to my way is one less troop on Fiverr at least. And I'm going to try to basically wrap up what's left of his land province, which he's been expanding using this assassin here. He's been killing the commanders, then attacking, because then they run away. So we need to be aware of that thing. But basically, every turn, he's losing guys. They're starving. They're deserting his army. They are starving by now. They have to be. So they're starving. They're taking injuries from starving. So they're getting all sorts of wounds, and disease is probably spreading, which is preventing health regeneration per battle now, which is going to be catastrophic.
Does he get any of the supplies from that province at all when you're sieging?
No. No, he doesn't really. If I remember right, sieging, they don't get supplies. Then again, there are spells that could give him things that could give him food and stuff. Like barrels of broth or whatever it's called. Which is basically like a magic broth barrel that's full of unlimited food. You can use those in sieges to just sit inside your castle and have food forever. But you can't recruit when you're being sieged. And you can't make money either. So people are deserting his army because they aren't getting paid. So that's good. So I think that's going to wrap that up. Once that front's done, this entire force, assuming that Sandor doesn't move against me here, is going to head towards Sketchy if you haven't killed him by then to help finish the job. Yeah. Kill off their god and then be done with it.
Depending on the what time of the year it is, if you're lucky, you might be able to walk across some frozen lake there and just walk right into it, but...
Honestly, that would be preferable. It's not going to happen this year, because I know this winter, I might attack him in the winter, I'm not sure. I might attack him in late winter, just right at the end, because if I look at my research here, I'm getting Evocation. I'm going to have Evocation 2 next turn or the turn after, which is going to give me Rain. Rain is a spell that makes, the entire battlefield wet, and it's also very good against the Abyssians, who I'm fighting, and other hot creatures, severely reduced. Fire magic is more difficult to use during heavy rain, as all non-underwater units... If it is cold, it will now snow instead. Snow does not increase the fatigue for fire spells, though, sadly. So I'll not be getting that buff. But it does reduce the heat effects, although less so than rain. So I might not. I don't know. Because while the winter is colder, the spell is less effective. Well, and because he's in his own dominion...
It is still just one gem. If you can cast it, you might as well.
Because his dominion's 3 heat, so I don't think it's going to be cool enough to rain. Or, no, well, actually it might rain anyways because it's hot. Like, when winter comes, this province here, these provinces, are too hot. Their snow is going to melt into rain. So if I cast rain anyways, I might be able to attack during the winter because it'll rain instead of snow.
Yeah.
It's weird. I know this game looks so simplistic, but the mechanics that are going under the hood here are so fucking retardo. Like, it's cool. Because, like, yeah, no, it'll be hot enough here that if I cast rain, it shouldn't snow, it'll rain instead. Unless it snows. That would be awesome.
I think that it will rain, but you never know.
That is fucking true. On the southern front, we'll mention Pfeiffer next, but Carlos is probably going to launch an attack, I think, soon. He might be supported by this army here. I'm
With
not
what?
sure. He's got an army somewhere here. We saw it a long time ago. Shem.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it was mostly just Fomorian guards. They're not very strong.
I assume by now he's got glamour in it. It's
Well,
been long.
probably because his capital is so close.
There's not a lot of troops in this fort, though. And the garrison's not particularly high either. If he moves here, I might have to start moving, my god.
The glamour troops will absolutely destroy your Minotaurs.
That's the problem.
Yeah, because your Minotaurs don't have, like, any armor. So they're just gonna get stabbed, and then they're dead.
Which is not good at all. These guys aren't gonna fare any better, honestly.
Well, they might.
I got a caster who's gonna be ready next turn.
Purely because you have more numbers. Like, that's the thing versus Glamour. You kind of need numbers, and you also want projectiles.
I don't have very many projectiles here. I've got some horse centaurs with longbows.
Do they have projectiles?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
They use longbows.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll have to hope. This army is quite big, though. Or will be. Every turn it's been growing, and my white centaurs are blessed. Because the god's there. It'll be nice and nasty. Got the formation block up there. This is nothing.
Do you have any trample units?
Trample units? That's these guys. Minotaur's trample.
Okay, then you're fine. Because I think the Nemedian warriors are only size 2, and trample will automatically beat glamour. Because when you trample a square, you will push out all of the units that are in it, and they will at least take 1 damage. That's a dispelled glamour. So as long as they are not size 3, you should be fine.
But my guy's size 3? Oh, the Nemedians.
Yeah, because they have to be smaller than you.
Well, there's one way we can find out about the Nemedians is check out the Battle of Chilad. Nemedian warriors.
They're size 2.
They're size 2, so they will get trampled.
So you should be fine.
I hope he sends a lot of glamour my way then, because he'll be fucking sad.
I mean, they will still be pretty decent against your stars, but, you know, they're not gonna automatically win.
That means I might have the troops sally forth because they'll be supported by these guys as well. Which is not that much when you think about it, but these guys throw... throw javelins.
Yeah, it's still worth it. You should definitely keep them on patrol in that case.
I will immediately set them to patrol. I have a...
I think for the most part, keeping them on patrol is worthwhile.
I have an air mage. I don't even know what spells I have for air. Shocking grasp. Okay, it's not good.
Oh no! don't bother.
Lightning
just keep
bolt.
Them on research.
Yeah, I'll just keep them on research. Thunderstrike, hurricane.
Thunderstrike is very strong.
Yep, I've seen it in action. Very powerful spell. God strikes down and fucks you up, boy. It might be useful, but I'd have to empower him to make him really worthwhile, which is not like I'm making that many air gems.
No.
Once Handsy Boy falls, though, that'll be great. That will signal the end of their little rebellion on land, at least to the south of their regions, which is good, because without him there's nothing that's going to hold me back from going north, and there's nothing that's going to hold me back from expanding and start pushing against Carlos. my biggest fear is if he were to break through and break out, what would happen is he would retake a lot of territory. And what that would do is it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, but it would just mean that the war's going to drag on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to kill him. I want to be done with him, and I want to just move on to the next target.
Yeah.
And because he's still being fed... Carlos is terrible. No offense, Carlos, but you're leaking information all the time. So he's been feeding little hands, even though he's in there. Not food, unfortunately, because his men are still starving. I hope. I hope. He has been feeding him gems, though. Fire gems, no less. Which means I don't want to know what's behind those walls. What kind of fucking demons he summoned. I imagine fire drakes and the other little fire dog thingy. Which, the fire dog thingy is not too annoying. It's the fire drakes that I don't want to deal with. But the rain will reduce the heat effect, which might reduce the amount of chance of my guys getting lit on fire.
Yeah.
That might be enough, and that might reduce the effect of his fire elementals, too.
Yeah, I think so.
With his fire elementals weakened, that will make it a lot less scary. But his fire elementals, from what I understand, and I'm pretty sure most elementals can, not sure, I think the rock one and the water one can't, but it depends, maybe it's underwater. I know they can't scale over walls. I know fire elementals can. So if he has casters behind the walls, those fire elementals roll over the walls and then roll onto my guys, that would suck.
Yeah, but can't you just put your units on hold an attack, and let the fire elementals come to you, and then you just nuke him down before the rest of his troops
My guys
arrive?
move too fast, sadly, I think. When I attack, I will do that, though. I'll try to get him to come out.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I'll be able to rush his casters down when they're behind the wall.
No.
But the other thing is, I'm hoping that his fire drakes will come out of the castle's hole, like the little mouth, before my guys do. Because if my guys go in through that little tiny crack, and then there's the fucking fire drakes there, oh my god, that's gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna burn. They're gonna burn bad.
Oh yeah.
Because they're basically flamethrowers.
They are.
And my guys don't really like catching on fire because they're furry. They'll burn. And they'll burn real good, like steak.
Just like you.
Damn. That kind of wraps up my front. So Rila, our little poofer toofer, has successfully evaded Sandro and has waddled away. I'm going to ask him, make sure that he regroups. I think he needs to group up with all his armies and just push, or he needs to just force Sandro to chase him around and just keep maneuvering.
Yeah, I asked him, because I think that what he should do is he should rejoin both of his armies in that little Atlantis territory at the top there, where he has an army, and just
maybe crush him.
Yeah, and kill that off, because that's troops lost, and that's just. And I don't think whatever he has there, I don't think that has a chance against that many units.
Let's see. According to our intelligence, the army contains 60 units, which again the intel can always be off, but generally it's right about the descriptions of troops. The army consists mainly of Coral Guards, Atlantean militias, mages of the deep, and deep ones. A huge basalt queen was seen towering over the army. The army appears to be commanded by Hetheg Kla, the Basalt King, who radiates power. So he's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can kill the Basalt King. That's not his god, though. I think his god's in that army. Let's see.
Yep, the Ancient Kraken.
Yep, that's the Ancient Kraken.
280 units, yep.
That's his god in there, which his god has like 8 tentacles, and that's 8 attacks per turn. Disgusting. He'll slaughter dudes.
But we'll see. I think Pfeiffer was talking about getting enslavement and stuff up, and Mind Blast and whatever. So we'll see if that tactics of his pan out. If he will be able to grab some opponents' commanders and whatnot. Otherwise,
it would be nice.
I think he's gonna have a hard time standing up against that little army.
He doesn't have much maneuvering room left.
No.
Are you gonna attack with? I know you're controlling Agartha, but are you gonna have Agartha's last truly powerful army do anything?
Yeah, he's moving up.
Just keep
Two
taking
green waters there.
territories.
Yeah, they don't
Fight for
really
attack
have
here?
it.
Oh, he won that battle pretty hand down. I think he did. That's Lake Vastness, which is, yep, right there. Gosh darn it, Poover. Why did you attack with slave troopers? Okay, he is at least a taskmaster, so that helps, but not by much. Against what kind of garrison? Yeah, no. Coral Guard. These guys, no problem. He's gonna curl right into them. They're dead. These Coral Guards and these heavily armored merman dudes, and they're casting water elementals. Bifer really need the meta for underwater. I cannot say this enough. Is fire element or water elementals.
Yeah.
On land, they're not nearly as effective, but under the water, they get regeneration. Which, yes, it's the elementals that do all the damage here.
Yeah. Holy shit! He just keeps spamming them.
Yep.
It's really interesting because isn't this just a garrison?
He brought a caster here. And a caster, I would imagine, because his caster's being escorted by Coral Guard, which are probably, and these troops right here, these Amber Clan Guard, they're probably recruited by Garrison. And he's like, yeah, no, I'll just cast water elementals and that'll keep him at bay. And it will. He'll have to take a sizable force or more equally powerful water elementals to really deal with that shit.
You need magic damage to even do any damage to them.
Yep.
Because they have 0 resistance, but they take half damage from everything.
And they regenerate underwater, which is cancer. Yeah. Oh boy. Things are looking good, but they're also looking like it's still up in the air. I think this winter is going to really show us what the direction of the war is going in.
Yeah.
If we can at least maintain the steady victories we've been having on the mainland, I think they're going to start rolling up here. I think Ulm is very close to doing basically a full hands move and just fold in. Basically just fold up and die. I just need to finish off hands, and then we can help with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be still kind of tricky to deal with him, I think. Because he will still be able to produce units and shit, but...
basically, every major assault you repel, you just push in and take another castle.
Yeah, like he did throw like 400 units at us, and...
Yep, that was the Battle of LA.
Yeah, that has got to put a huge dent. And that's also why I just want to counter push right now. Instead of sitting there and letting him muster up forces again. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. I think that'll conclude today's episode of Sadness. Though slightly, little bits of happiness are starting to bleed in there. I'm not sure what to think of that. Is this an illusion? Is this a facade?
Kibs has never felt this way before.
Will Cash abandon? Cash is like, I'm sorry, I lost a battle. I'm folding in. It's like, goddamn
this game.
Cash, you piece of shit.
Gonna refund.
It's a little, you can't even do that if you wanted to. Also, you have way too many hours to refund now. Steam ain't gonna let you. Yeah. It's over now. Either way, until next time.
Bye-bye.